welcome y'all to tonight's City Council meeting. My mind just went blank. As usual, we'll open with a word of prayer and the pledge, and I'd like to welcome Reverend Glenn Austin, who is the fire chaplain, and he's going to lead us in the pledge and the prayer. So if you please stand.
Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve you in this capacity, and I pray, dear Lord, that you'd bless each and every one that's here. I ask that you would bless these councilmen for the things that they have to bring up here tonight, and Lord, just give them the wisdom that they need. Bless this town, Lord. I thank you for the opportunity to be part of it, and I ask, dear Lord, you continue to guide and direct us as your will would be done. For this tonight, Lord, give us the wisdom to do the things that you'd have us to do, to make the right decisions, and we'll give you the honor and glory for it, and it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. And now I will call the roll. Mary Fraction. Here. William Wilson.
Here.
Jane Glidewell.
Here.
Wayne Reynolds.
Here.
Peggy Lusinger.
Here.
Robin Halbert.
Here.
Larry Stiles.
Here.
David Cross.
Here.
Attorney Graham is not here because his child is ill and in Children's Hospital, so that's why he is not with us tonight. The minutes of the previous meeting were received in your packets. Are there any questions or corrections to the minutes? Do I have a motion and second to adopt the minutes as written?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Fraction?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Glidewell?
Yes.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Lusinger?
Yes.
Halbert?
Yes.
Stiles?
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Minutes are adopted. You had departmental reports in your packets. Are there any questions or corrections concerning departmental reports?
I have a question on the police department. I see you've added a very colorful addition.
It's actually a work in progress. We're going to have all the total violations, and it breaks it down into sector. We haven't been able to get the map yet, so you can actually see which sector that goes to each ward, so you can understand when we're moving from one to the other. If we're not in your ward, it's just because we're not neglecting it. We just haven't got to it at that particular time.
Well, I see there are a lot of warnings and a lot of follow-ups, but no citations. What would it take to?
Well, that's the last. I mean, that's the last option. We really don't want to cite the people. You know, we like them to do it, and like I explained before, they're creatures of habit. So it's a vicious cycle, because usually they'll comply by the time we go back for the follow-up, and then it starts over again, but we have moved on to a different sector. So we're still trying to improve and make what we're doing more.
Well, I appreciate that, and I like your report.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're welcome. But we're getting better. We're trying to look for better ways to enforce these ordinance violations. It's a work in progress. But we'll get there. I mean, eventually there are probably going to be more citations. We're getting there.
Okay.
Do I have a motion and second to accept departmental reports?
Make a motion.
Is there any discussion? Fraction?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Glidewell?
Yes.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Lusinger?
Yes.
Halbert?
Yes.
Stiles?
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Our first item under new business is a letter and support documents from me asking to remove some computers from inventory that were sold in the 2011 auction. Do I hear a motion and second to remove those items from inventory?
Move we remove them.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Fraction?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Glidewell?
Yes.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Lucinger?
Yes.
Halbert?
Yes.
Stiles?
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
At this time, I would like to recognize Ashley Parker, who's our county librarian, and she's going to present the 2013 Malvern Hot Spring County Annual Report.
Actually, Graves now.
You're right.
I gave you all a copy of our 2013 annual report as I came in this evening. This report is required by the federal and state government, and we've already submitted that. It seems kind of significantly into the year, but we have to wait till they open the survey report before we can complete it. And it didn't close until April 15th. So this is the time after that we've been able to provide that for you. This covers January through December of 2013. If you're interested in statistics from the previous years, we have those on record. And if there's any questions about some of the specifics, then I can address any of those as well. And I apologize, this is a lot of numbers. In 2013, we started with a $413,000 budget. We had 6 full-time staff and 7 part-time staff. And we'll note that probably 3 of those work less than 6 hours a week part-time. So they're extremely part-time. We had 24 volunteers who worked a total of 804 hours. We were open 2,277 hours over the span of 52 weeks. There was not a single week in 2013 where we weren't open at least 30% of the week. We offered 168 children's programs, 9 young adult programs, and 39 adult programs during this time. We had 140 children participate in these programs, 50 young adults, and 290 adults. We also were able to provide access to 2 genealogy databases in our library that we pay for, as well as an additional 82 databases that are paid for by the state library. I don't have the ability to share statistics on that usage. They've changed the way it's reported. It's reported to the state library as a batch for the whole state, and they're not able to break that down for us anymore. We used to be able to tell how many database uses we had just for our location. We can't do that anymore. And we were also able to provide 52 print serial subscriptions. That's magazines and newspapers. We have 18 public access computers for adults and 6 for children. Of these computers, all but one of the children's computers has access to internet and Microsoft Office, and all of the adult computers do. We do filter to comply with the CIPA laws, but those filters can be lifted on an adult computer if they need to access something that the filters are blocking. And again, that's part of the CIPA regulations that we'd be able to do that. In 2013, we had 63,560 people visit the library. So if anyone tells you libraries aren't used these days, I will tell you they are wrong. And that's physical visits. We had 21,592 registered library users, 49,744 visitors to our website, 2,293 total consumers viewed our Facebook page, with a total of 935 likes. In 2013, we circulated 82,921 items, which breaks down to 25,034 from our audiovisual collection. That's audiobooks, music, computer software, and DVDs. 57,382 print items, and 505 items from our special collections. That can further be broken down into 41,752 items from our adult print collection, 12,773 items from our juvenile collection, and 2,262 items from our young adult collection. As a side note, our special collections include video games, puzzles, games, multimedia curriculum kits, various other types of media, rod and reels, computer software, knitting needles, crochet needles, and kilowatt meters. And all of those are available for checkout to the public. In addition to to physical items in our location, we offer 1,816 ebooks, which circulated for over 6,000 checkouts last year. We borrowed 740 items from other libraries last year. We're able to do that through a lending program. We're able to borrow items from any library in the country that participates. And in reciprocation, we loaned 154 items to other libraries as well. In addition to our physical location, we have a bookmobile service that's part of our regional 4-county library. It made approximately 15 stops a month during 2013, and most of those stops, even though it is a regional service, do happen within our county. And I'll note that we make 2 stops a month in Bismarck, not just 1, in addition to a stop in Point Cedar. So we do reach the far ends of the county as well. The bookmobile had a total of 1,147 visitors and has almost 500 registered users. They circulated 1,535 items from the adult print collection, 1,482 items from the children's collection, 66 items from the young adult collection, and had 152 circulation items from the audiovisual collection. So that totals over 3,000 items from our bookmobile collection alone. In addition to general service, I would like to say that our annual summer reading program continues to be a success. During 2013, we had 332 participants in our summer reading incentive program, where we give children prizes for reading during the summer, and this helps them maintain their reading level so they're not behind when they start school. And we had, of those, 52 kids turned in their final reading log so we could track how much they read. So between 52 kids, they read over 2,500 hours during the summer, which is pretty significant. In conjunction with that program, we also offer scheduled activities to entertain and educate our children during the summer. And we offered 57 of those activities last year with over 600, almost 650 participants. And I will say that I did go ahead and give you this year's summer calendar. We're close to 80 programs for this year. So we are continuing to increase those programs that are available to the public. The Maine State Library provides the service calculator that establishes a value for your library. And I will say that they do not track all the metrics we track. So this is a very, very conservative value. But based on their state library calculator, we provided a service totaling a value of $1,475,000 and $401. So we can definitely see that investment in your public library makes a huge impact on the community, both in social and economic value as well as monetary value as well. Does anyone have any questions? I know that was a lot of numbers. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. Your packets had a resolution making a one-time exception to the city's water and sewer policy to supply water service to Amy and Brian Douglas at 139 Russellville Road. Would someone like to introduce that resolution?
I'll introduce it.
A resolution allowing a one-time exception to the City of Malvern's water and sewer policy. Now therefore be it resolved by the Malvern City Council as follows. Section 1, that the City of Malvern make a one-time exception to the Malvern water and sewer policy adopted by resolution number 540 on January 11th, 1999, to allow Brian and Amy Douglas, 139 Russellville Road, to hook on to city water at their own expense and meeting all regulations of the Malvern Water Works, the State Department of Pollution Control, and EPA, and agreeing to pay all charges deemed necessary by the Malvern Water Works. Do I have a motion and second to adopt the resolution? You want to discuss it a little more?
I have a question.
Okay.
We're talking about an exception to a policy that I don't have a copy of. What is the policy?
It's the old water and sewer policy that, remember, the old water and sewer policy allowed anyone to hook on to water, but it kept anyone from hooking on to sewer.
So the exception that we're giving
But
is,
then we went back and we changed it to where the council had to approve anyone that hooked on, period, and they had to agree to annex.
so the exception is the fact that we're not requiring them to annex? or-
No, the exception is that y'all have to approve it. Anytime, anyone that hooks on outside the city limits is an exception to the policy, because the policy says that we'll just offer it to city residents,
Okay.
except when y'all,
The reason I ask is because in our water rate ordinance, I hope these people are aware that the rate is double.
yes, they are. David has talked to, they came to us asking, and I believe you said their wells dry or almost dry,
I'm
or
under the impression your well's bad, going bad some way. Either it's not fit for consumption or it's going dry one. They are fully aware they're going to have to pay double rates. And they're fully aware that they're going to have to sign saying that they will annex at first opportunity.
Wasn't there on the initial charge for doing that too?
yes, they'll have to pay the
Upfront.
fee to hook on.
But it wasn't, what, did anybody remember what it was?
I think it's $500 for sewer, but I don't remember if there was one for hooking onto water.
The only thing we quoted them is cost of new service from Waterworks, which is going to be $550 plus.
In the past, there's been an additional fee for water and sewer outside the city. All those people paid it out the 4 lane, I know.
I was unaware. I was aware there was a policy and that the council had to approve it, but I don't have a copy of that policy either that you spoke of. But I did know there was a policy that the council had to approve it.
I'm gonna have to go dig that policy out of the vault. But I called Mark Roberts because, as far as I know, he was the last city attorney when we allowed somebody to hook on. And I did go back, and this is what we did when we allowed Ron Wilkes to hook on, and when we allowed Jim Nordquist to hook on to at the Pines Motel out
And that's
in
another
Kearney.
deal. In the past, it's always been businesses. I don't think we've ever done an individual help. Or residents.
It was Ron's residence, I think,
Oh,
wasn't it?
okay.
Yeah, it was his residence out on 270.
I was curious, why is is the double rate to encourage them to annex eventually?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so. But there is a provision in the rate ordinance which defines an outside city residence, which says the term outside city using the foregoing minimum and additional monthly charges refers to all residential and commercial customers except the city of Malvern, and it goes on to establish the double rate that you're talking about. Whereas the city rate's $4.35 per 1,000 gallons, the rate out in the outside the city is like $8.
David,
Per 1,000
I'm
gallons.
sorry. David, there are adjacent properties that,
Yes, there are two residences there. One at 105 Russellville Road and one at 121 Russellville Road. And the only other address for Russellville Road is at the Arbor Oaks. Arbor Oaks is on that too. And they're paying double rates also.
So the other residents have city water?
Yes. At double rates.
How long have they had it?
I'd have to go back and look. It's been way before my time. There's been water out there.
Because you know, we used to let people hook onto water. They didn't have to do anything but just agree to pay the double rates and pay to hook on. And then when things really started to grow, then we changed the policy to regulate both water and sewer.
There is a provision in the rate ordinance that says Malvern Waterworks may levy reasonable charges for other services. So, but that's not well defined.
And there is a bill of assurance that will attach to the ordinance that requires them to annex at their earliest possible convenience.
But realistically, that might not have happened, because you have to be contiguous
Right,
to the city.
right.
I mean, that could go on for.
Right.
That's
They
to
would,
answer your question.
David, they wanted to annex. That was
Oh, I
their
understand
first
that.
request, I think.
Yeah, I understand that, but it may not ever happen.
Right. And this also, I noticed that when I typed it, it binds whoever buys the property also.
I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want us to get in trouble down the road.
Right.
In litigation, because we let somebody have it, and now we're going to refuse somebody down the road, maybe for whatever reason.
Where we adopt the resolution?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any other discussion? Fraction?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Glidewell?
Yes.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Lusinger?
Yes.
Hulbert?
Yes.
Stiles?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
The resolution is adopted and assigned number 04-2014. And my laser fish is down and that's why I couldn't pull up the actual policy, but I will go down and pull it out of the vault and get y'all a copy of that policy. And David a copy.
Yeah, let's make sure they understand before we get started, in case there is. And I don't know that there is. It seemed like there was something about it.
Okay. Your packets had an ordinance establishing the police department as the primary collector of fines assessed in district court. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance for its first reading? This was requested by the auditor. We have to determine who collects the fines from district court, and it has to be recorded in the minutes that they are collected by the police department.
But that was the way it's currently being done anyway.
Yes, there's no change.
Right.
We just have to set it out on paper.
I'll introduce the ordinance.
An ordinance establishing the primary collector of fines assessed in the District Court of Malvern, Arkansas, and declaring an emergency. Whereas it is the responsibility of the Malvern City Council to designate a city official, agency, or department which shall be primarily responsible for the collection of fines assessed in the District Court. And whereas all fines collected each month in District Court by the designated city official, agency, or department shall be disbursed in accordance with Arkansas Code annotated 16-13-709. Whereas the Malvern City Council has designated the police department as the primary collector of fines assessed in the district court. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Malvern, Arkansas. Section 1. The City Council of Malvern, Arkansas hereby designates the Malvern Police Department as the primary collector of fines assessed in district court. Section 2. Immediate operation of this ordinance is necessary for the preservation of the public's peace, health, and safety, and an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force from and after its passage and publication as required by law. Do I have a motion and second to suspend the rules and place the ordinance on its second reading by title only?
So moved. Second.
I will tell you that the auditor has said that we need to do this immediately because it's something they found in the 2013 audit, which he is currently doing. So, Fraction,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Glidewell,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Lucinger,
Yes.
Halbert,
Yes.
Stiles,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing the primary collector of fines assessed in the District Court of Malvern, Arkansas, and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion and second to suspend the rules and place the ordinance on its third and final reading by title only?
Make a motion. Go ahead. I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Fraction,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Glidewell,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Lucinger,
Yes.
Halbert,
Yes.
Stiles,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing the primary collector of fines assessed in the District Court of Malvern, Arkansas, and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion and second to adopt the ordinance?
Move we adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Fraction,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Glidewell,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Lucinger,
Yes.
Halbert,
Yes.
Stiles,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted and assigned number 2014-07. Do I have a motion and second to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance?
Make a motion. Second.
Fraction,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Glidewell,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Lucinger,
Yes.
Halbert,
Yes.
Stiles,
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
I have nothing else. Does anyone else have anything to come before the council? Do I have a motion and second to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Second.